Sick. I actually joined the Rewired trading program um, yesterday. I only started doing it this morning, but it's pretty good. Um, be going through the exercises. Yeah, it's quite interesting for sure. So yeah, getting stuck in, taking it step by step. Um, Not trying to rush it, but definitely has opened up my eyes a little bit more to, and I think it will each time I go for it. Yeah, looking at the charts today, this is actually my first look on the charts. Pretty much woke up, kind of just got into my sort of, mindset and everything. Had some breakfast and then jumped onto Rewired as you would because you just bought it. So yeah, DXY is looking pretty good. It looks like it is making that slow but sure move upwards. So this isn't the most progressive price action, but at the moment it's definitely still moving upwards. So I think in time, just it's going to just move in this sort of channel. Um, and yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But this corrective move definitely could be building up for some strong impulse. So definitely looking for some price action like we had on the left. Which, if I get the bar replay, and let's just say we pull something like this, something like this wouldn't be too bad, especially to this high, because then we can create some larger flag over here to go higher. So something like this, definitely looking at something like this coming on board. I think, some traps in here as well, some false sort of data to catch people out could possibly be on the table as well. Because looking at the larger structure, we know, um, what could potentially be on the table. So I think something like this as well would catch people out. Um, but I'm just going to be patient with DXY. I think it can definitely sell off if it wants to. But I think at this point here, if we don't sort of commit and sell off, and we do start going higher, then this 1, 2, 3 larger time frame up here is on the table. Would we get a near miss? It's too early to tell, but I think if we're going to go here, we're going to gravitate to the high. So that's something I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on. The next one I'm looking at is Euro Aussie. I did kind of go over some other charts as well, in a different sitting where, some other currency pairs. After evaluating on a Monday, I did think, I could have probably changed up my watch list, but it's okay. I mean, I think in time maybe I might find a new way of me, kind of changing up my watch list and wildcards. But at the moment, there was some good opportunity. I mean, I did mark in this sort of point over here where I thought, we could potentially push lower. We did push down, but I don't think this is the push low. I think this is going to get a little bit tricky. So we are still in this sort of corrective leg. So I think this one is going to be on the bit of the back burner right now. I think we're just still in this corrective channel, and I think until we break out, that's when I'll be more inclined, and I think that might happen towards the middle, towards end of this week. We have a bit of news coming between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I think by Friday we might have a confirmation that we might be able to get into this trade. So it's good to just have that on watch. Data can change pretty quickly. Next one I'm looking is Euro US Euro GBP. Euro GBP, yep, definitely has shaped up nicely. As kind of assuming, price created this nice little two touch, not the cleanest. We can still come back down and just really confirm something. But I think, this could be the beginning of the bull run if there is going to be a bull run. So we do have this larger override, but we have the near miss, and that near miss is a little bit. Well, I think it might be a clue that we're not exactly going to be going up right now. We're going to be coming down first. So for that pure reason, I think with this non-progressive price action, because if we did kind of create this flag and then go, then I would say, okay, cool, we have room to probably move up higher before we come low. But with how prices move now, I think is not the sort of price action I would go long on. I think this is the sort of price action I would look at and be like, okay, I'm going to have to be more patient, um, and pretty much just wait for this to come here before we go there. So it's a very simple, easy play, but I think it just takes a little bit more time. And I think with this getting large correction, I think I don't really want to really waste too much time sitting in this market. So I'm going to just be extra patient with it, and yeah, just basically evaluate when the time's right. So Euro GBP is one to be extra patient with, but it can sell off as well bearing that in mind. And if we do begin to just push down impulsively and create flags, I would be inclined to just stay neutral and change my mind. So that's that for EG. Euro USD, wicked pair. Honestly, it's been a really good run. Didn't get to capitalize on it, unfortunately. However, it's been interesting to just watch and monitor and learn from. And there's been an abundance of opportunity. I mean, even looking at this current price action over here, this looks like something. I mean, it's not sort of trade I would want to get involved in straight away. I mean, but this could potentially be the larger flag. So this being tops, this comes in over here, and then we see something like this. That's something I might entertain. Somebody might actually look at this and say, okay, this could be the beginning of a short, but mm, it's there is context there for sure. It's just I think I don't want to get into that. I want to be a bit more patient and wait for extra confirmation, even though that could be the second touch. So at least I've secured that position. I don't know if this is the second touch. That's the only thing. This could just go higher and then create something a little bit, you know, I don't know. A lot of things can really vary at this point, and I don't want to just get into this chart for just the sake of it, really. I want to get into this because I think it's a good play, and I think that would be accumulation for that bigger, shorter play. And that's a nice trade to get into because there's real good structure in there, and it'll be clear on the 4 hour, which I think is even better. Um, like there, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I mean that's something I do like. So I think I'm going to wait for a little bit more clarity on this one before I even take a trade. But that larger structure on the 4 hour, if that's clear as day, I'll take that every day. Next one I've got is GA. GA actually looks pretty good as well. I mean, it's exactly what I was looking at anyway. I think I did kind of just not take a trade on this at all. I just kind of sat there watching it. I think after looking at it, it was just more so like great entry here. Um, the stop loss on it, I think was pretty large, to be fair. I think with the 5 minute, 15-minute refinement, definitely could have looked at it over here and just said, okay, could take a trade in here, put the stop loss just above, around about 36. Um, hmm, even so, I mean, it wasn't really great risk reward, but I mean, looking at the larger run, of course, yeah, um, it's not bad. I mean, let's see what it was like on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, if we take the retrace candle over here, completely valid because we have the override. So we're not looking at the bang on third touch, but if we left 50 pips, yeah. So it would have been on break even now. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gravitates back up, tags some people out, and then goes. Seen it happen too many times, but I think more so I'm going to be, yeah, I think more of an advanced way of taking this right now would be if this does somehow get a bit complicated and does come up here before it goes, that is where the trade is because I've seen over time, like you would ideally want to get into the trade here when it was here, but you didn't, and then you missed it, and then it went off, but then now it's coming back. If it does come back to that zone, that could potentially be a very good area to enter. Then again, we have to say if we evolve and we look at it ever so much like this, we'll take it to the 1 hour. Could that be? Well, nah, not really. I don't think I would do that. I think I'll just leave it like that and then just wait. Perhaps maybe you could say that this is the retest as well. This comes up, retests, just goes a little bit further, comes back in. So Um, yeah, I think as well, GA was nice. GA trade was there for sure. Probably on the 5 minute, we could have found some sort of refinement. Looking back on it now, I don't think there was anything I could have. Maybe in there, I think in there was probably the closest to a trade I would have looked at. Um, this little section here, reduce risk entry. Um, yeah, I mean that's probably the trade I would have taken if I was going to take a trade here. I would have probably just slapped on a trade here, put in the stop loss probably around about 15 extra safe. I mean, a pro would have probably done it about bang on 10. I mean, that is a solid entry right there. And then you would have been running around about 8% at some point. I think high spreads were here, so you would have had to be no early morning. So yeah, I think you'd be well protected as well. You would have taken it. You would have had to stay up though. You would have had to be awake during around about 2 a.m. Um, on a Wednesday, and then yeah, you would have been around about here, managing it, probably coming around about here, made about 5%. Then you'd be out of the trade by now and just waiting for your next entry. So yeah, I mean, you would have been again, you would have been managing it around about early morning. So yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I think I would have been sleeping around about this time anyway. So because of the hours of sleep, I wouldn't have seen this trade. So yeah, even so, I think I wouldn't have been able to capture that. And there was no clear trade for me in that section over there. So that would have been the only trade I would have probably looked at capitalizing on. Obviously, we had this sort of section here, which I was looking at as a two touch, and then you know, that was definitely a good trade because that ran about, well, 1.4, but then came all the way back up. So realistically, I probably would have locked in around about 1%. Um, I'm not sure if I even took that trade now. But yeah, so let's just have a look at the next one. So what we're looking at is, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. I think it has a lot of room to commit. I think even now, if we were to catch the trade in there with whatever it would have been, let's just say it was a 50 pip stop loss. Oh, 26. Okay. Uh, it still had a lot of room for it to go. Like to this low, we're looking at around about 11%. So in a different unit of time, that would have been good. I think that this is more so. Um, yeah, this is a good trade. This is a really good trade because it's 11%, and then further down 40, 50, so forth, all the way back down. Yeah, 83 over a course of maybe, we'll probably be looking to the end of the year. So even if it's a case of a trade for 2 months, a month, 3 months, I think 83% on the portfolio is still pretty good, for a 26 pip stop loss trade. Obviously, there's no guarantee. We could probably just gravitate because we had a near miss to the double top, even though we did break mass psychology. Um, we don't need to come back up here because we've done what we need to do. We created this sort of larger structure, which I think is also more than enough accumulation here. And then now we're selling off. So if we can commit, I think this would be great. Just got to wait and see. Also, we have that sort of head and shoulders feel to it. Look, we have the left shoulder, the head, the very corrective right shoulder with structure, which is nice, and then the sell. So I do quite like this trade a lot. I just think, yeah, it's just one that I think is going to give an abundance of opportunity on the way down now. So definitely go and keep my eye on that one. The next one I've got is New Zealand Swiss. I do like New Zealand Swiss a lot, actually. Even though it's had this sort of near miss to this sort of anomaly wick. I mean, I wouldn't really say it's an anomaly because, it has made a significant low, but I would say that, the yeah, we might come back and retest that one day, but we don't have to right now. I mean, we've already began to move up further. I was looking for the override here, and I really thought this would be a really good pair to have on watch. But New Zealand pairs always tend to just trickle in momentum on me, especially when I want to be getting involved. So something that I'm learning still, but I do like that, we are still trickling in this channel, and this isn't sustainable anyway for price to just keep going like this for a long time. So I think what we will see is a strong pullback at some point. But the only issue is what I tend to see with these is this can pull back and just create something larger, um, and then go. So, we don't really know where the line in the sand is when we have price action like this, and it's not always easy. But if we do have a sort of push out and a first flag, and then take it as a reduced risk. I mean, that is something that is a little bit more, I would say, a little bit more interesting. But at the moment, this is just going to keep evolving on me. So I don't really know if I want to be in this sort of price action. But I think if I'm going to be looking at where it could come to, I say about there. So we look at it from about point to point. And we say that it will correct even further. And then we might even see it, well, yeah, we might even see it come up to here at some point if it does continue. So I would say that line in the sand, I'm looking at continuation of this trend meaning to the low. So um, I'll take it from here to here. And then I would say that I'm looking at it like this. And this is the sort of expanding trend to the low that I see quite a bit as well. So um, that could be one way to look at it. Or more so like this, which I think would be a better way to even just have it. But it's a bit annoying that it's just sitting at the top of this, and middle section, push low, comes back up, push again. Wow, if it does come there, that would be great. We'll get 1, 2, 3 as well. Yeah, I've got to wait and evaluate that because there's no sort of solid confirmation yet. But push down, flag, this could be a good run. So I guess I will wait for that. How I would take it, I don't know if I would take a smaller flag. Um, they're probably going to be very good risk reward in terms of earlier in the run as well. But I think I'll definitely wait for something a little bit more confirmation, something a little bit with a little bit more depth, some accumulation in there, and then I think that will be the better play for me. So probably not so close to the trend as well. I probably would want like a solid, push away, something like that. Something just comes in, strong impulse, continuation, clear as day, and then that's it, continuation. So correction to continuation, that's it. So that's my New Zealand Swiss trade. Just have to keep moving this and evolving it, but that's basically what I'm looking at taking. Bear in mind, I could just be watching this and it could keep going and going and going. It's just the risk I take. So yeah. Next one I'm looking at is USD CAD. Now, USD CAD's a bit of a pain at the moment, to be honest. It's not really committing. It's not really giving any form of commitment. It's still in this trickling sort of downwards momentum. Now, I'm starting to think that this could just give us that expanding that I was dreading a little bit. I think we might just get something like that. And if we do get something like this, well, looking at the DXY, it could just come back and double bottom and then make it a little bit more messier. Um, I don't really know. I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what's going on. I'm really waiting for this solid push up and a flag. We have some news coming out though. So I'm hoping that we might get some expected volatility. Non-farming payrolls on Friday as well. So, us trading into around about here could be good as well. I mean, if we get that solid break, I'm happy. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a solid break out of this sort of corrective price here, strong push out, and then push away. Because right now it's creating this sort of very corrective, accumulative sort of price here. It's just, is this going to be more continuation to the downside? I don't want to really be involved in more continuation to the downside right at this point. I want to see this go long and then capture the really nice trade up here, or if we do go further, then wait. But I guess I got to stay neutral because if the short does come on the table, then I've got to be ready for the short, which is going to be down here somewhere. And then bear in mind I could come into an expanding, so it gets a bit more strategic. That's the thing. But a solid push away, clear flag, and a go. I think that's the sort of trade I'm looking for. If we can create a flag in this zone, would I take it? Let's have a look. So how it would look is just more corrective price, really. So not really. I don't think I'd look for a flag here. Definitely in this sort of zone. In this zone here, something off about this size, around about, or even smaller actually, to be fair. Something around about there, but above here. Flag above here corrects into NFP, pushes away. That's me. NFP will be this last little line here. So we've got a lot of random little news here. Non-farm payrolls, we got 12:30 UK time. Is that UK time? UTC? No, yeah. Yeah. So round about there. So yeah, it'll give me enough time. I mean, right now we're what days, hours away? Let's see. So we're in the 4-hour chart. How many 4-hour candles away are we? We are roughly around about 12 candles away. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we might even get that sort of pushed down. I mean, looking at the sort of forecast, I mean, I don't really care about this so much, but look at the forecast, it looks not as good as the previous. Now, if we get something a lot less, then I can expect this to just drop off. If we get something which is positive, then well, like 400 or something, then of course we're going to get a strong spike up. So I'm kind of banking on the news being a little bit extra overboard or very underboard. I'm not trading the news, I'm just using it as a piggyback for volatility. However, I'm waiting for the structure to form so that I can have a good indication of price basically putting itself where it needs to be, and then waiting for the volatility to just give it that extra push. So everybody's kind of putting their money in the market at the same time, so that the banks and institutions can push the price in the right direction, take people out, and we can accumulate more money so that we can profit more. So that's basically how it works in my eyes. But yeah, so essentially that's it for USD CAD. I'm gonna do crude oil. I don't think I'm gonna really do. I don't really have much to really say actually for the rest of them. I mean, I'll go over them as well, but I think I'll just zoom through it after crude oil. More so for crude oil, it's just a bit more of a waiting one. I'm still waiting for this sort of push up. Um, would I entertain a trade in this zone? Not really. I think it's a late week trade for me. That's why it's more highlighted in orange than green. Um, yeah, just I think yeah, just looking. Maybe we might get some volatility piggybacking off the US dollar. Um, but yeah, I'm just looking at this strong push up. I mean, it would be really nice for a lot of the US pairs if we did get this strong push up, because it will give us that validation that we are moving to these sort of target zones on a few of these pairs. But yeah, I think I've just got to be patient. This definitely looks like it's just hovering on top of this trend line as well. It's like they want to push it down, but we're not getting that push. We're accumulating a lot of money in this area. I think a solid push up, taking people out, coming over here, push down, flag out in the trade. That's what I'm looking for. Obviously, the overrides being aware as well. So yeah, crude oil, definitely being a bit patient with this one, but it's definitely going to be looking good when we do start reaching these areas. Just how we reach it is super important, but this is corrective on the way up at the moment, and it will be corrective even if we impulse. So um, definitely big trade to come, hopefully. And we'll go through the wildcards actually, and New Zealand yen together. So yeah, so the wildcards wise, I haven't updated this, gosh. Okay, so yeah, I haven't really been looking at the wildcards much actually, to be fair. It's just this one's actually very corrective at the moment. Didn't really get the sort of forecast I was looking for, but this definitely looks like a nice corrective middle section. So one thing I do like about this is we got this sort of messier middle section, which is more so like this, and remove this line, take that, and just put it in there. So this is kind of our very messy middle section in my eyes, and we've basically got a 1, 2, 3 leading up to here. I think the override is the gameplay, really and truly. I don't know if we're gonna spike this far up. It's not really common for it to do that, but I want to see this go corrective, and then at some point just push, and then when it pushes, it will go up here somewhere. Could come up there. Don't know. It really just depends on price. But I think looking at something similar to the first leg would be interesting as well. So I'd be looking at something more so like that. And then yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. Um, and then yeah, we get this sort of not very clean, but 1, 2, 3. And then we look for some push down and a flag sort of shorts. And I think that's the sort of gameplay I really want to get involved in. So um, yeah, not too set on this playing out right now. I think it'll be a late week one. I think a lot of my wild cards are, but early next week. So I think my wild cards will become watch list cards next week. But yeah, that's basically it really. And then Euro. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, we're still in that sort of impulse down correction. I think I was a little bit bummed we didn't get the 1, 2, 3 on this one as well, but it's not the cleanest of price actions for that. We did have a sort of 1, 2, 3 in here. Didn't quite get that near miss as well, but price is price. If this just um, well, hmm, it's one of them ones. I mean, it's not the cleanest, but this is enough for us to sell off. So we could continue just selling off on EuroCAD, and I don't think that would be somewhat of uncommon. I think how we're breaking out of this is extremely interesting. We've basically just pushed out, created a flag now, so that could just sell. And then if that does start to sell, obviously we could look at target zones, inflection points, and then the ultimate low. But I don't think that this is the sort of short. I think we have a near miss there. But it's so corrective, and I think when you have corrections like this, it's a little bit hard sometimes, but just got to trade what's relevant. And right now, what's relevant is impulse, correction, continuation, correction, looking for another impulse down. So could be a good trade in here. The size of this, I think I was looking at this before, is huge. This is roughly around about 50 pips. So a reduced risk entry would not be a trade that I'd be looking to take, just because I'd be really sacrificing a lot, and it's quite a large way to protect yourself. But if I was going to get involved in this, I'd be refining down on the 1 hour, and I think my entry will be around about here. I won't be taking this trade, unfortunately, but we've got this sort of expanding feel to it as well, which isn't the best. But I think the trade is essentially going to be looking like that now. I think the trade is on the override section over here, so it'll be more so like this, where I would go for the override, look for the 1 hour retrace, because this is a 4 hour pattern right now, um, and then yeah, essentially take it in over here. So that's the override, and then yeah, essentially getting over here somewhere, and that'll be like a 19 pip stop loss. And then I think in terms of risk reward, I would definitely wait for the push down and the flag at that point anyway, regardless. But yeah, then we got 10% and then all the way to the low. So I don't think we'll make it to that low, unfortunately. Maybe the 90%, maybe we're about 25%. But yeah, it's one of them. I mean, I haven't really analyzed it too much because I know I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to be patient and watch it. But yeah, yeah. Euro Swiss, same situation, really. Missed the 1, 2, 3, unfortunately. We came out, we pushed, but this flag is somewhat different because it's on the low. But I think because of the weight it's pulling, this can commit. I think it actually began, but because of this like sort of very indecisive nature of this right now, it's not something I want to get involved in. But it looks like we could be pushing down back down here. The difference is we actually came to the override on this one. So here we actually had the override section here, and we did come in very correctively. We tapped into it, pushed down. We didn't get sort of that M sort of star sort of feel to it. We didn't get that 1, 2, 3 back to there, attached override, mini double top, etc., etc. My psychology broken again. Take out the stops, push, sell in. We kind of just pushed back down correctively from there. Well, and this is a bit corrective in my opinion. So could this be a larger structure for some sort of expanding, extending? I don't know. I'm just kind of a bit iffy with this one at the moment because this looks like a middle section for something so messy. And yeah, Euro pairs are getting a bit complicated right now. I mean, they could have been quite simple, but push down flag. We didn't get that clear flag. Now we're getting this, but it's on the low. No trade, no trade. Definitely had a mini double top though override before there, so that is valid, but that was the only trade with that nice little section leading up to it. Definitely nice trade there. Just unfortunate that okay, we didn't come up to the all the way to the top. We didn't have to, but we did kind of create a 1 hour evening star there, not the cleanest, and then pushed away and then pulled back. Could have been tagged out. I don't know if someone would want to hold a break even from here though as well. Imagine you got in this trade, and let's just say you protected yourself 18. Wow. Uh, Probably be more so like a 31 pip stop loss. Okay, yeah. I mean, just I was just looking at the pips and the percentage, but pips wise, if we just do it again, so say 30. Yeah, about 2%. So you would have run 2%. You would have probably locked in around about at least 0.5, and then being tagged out. So, if you did leave it, well, you'd only be running around about 2.3 at the moment, potentially going on to about 3.7 and so forth. Yeah, not really a trade that I would have been able to get involved in, and I don't think I would have entered there. So, yeah, looks good. 1, 2, 3 would have been very nice though. USD Swiss. To be honest, man, like USD Swiss is just it's just corrective at the moment. Not really presenting any good entries. It's not looking amazing. Correction is large. I mean, it doesn't look progressive at all. Um, I need a lot of more data to change. I mean, we could argue that this is a push up for a very long extended flag. Could this be a flag? I mean, is this a flag that I'd entertain? Not at this point. I mean, it's just kind of correction, correction. I mean, there's entry for shorts here for sure, short entries, but not the sort of price action I'd want to get involved in. And yeah, I think for that reason, I think I'd just stay out of this one, to be honest now. Um, it's one of them ones where we did break this quite nicely. We saw this sort of push up. If we had a nice little flag there, continuation flag, that would be the nice ideal situation. But unfortunately, it just got a bit messier. And for that reason, I'm just going to leave it out. Yeah, unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. Cool. And the very last one with New Zealand yen, I'll do them together, is US dollar yen and New Zealand yen. Weekly wise, just having a look at it, we've come up to this sort of override section. This is the sort of price action I am looking for, to be honest, with a short. So this is something I do like. Big inflection zone. I would say it's the high value area. Um, then we sort of came in here. If we take away these lines, it's somewhat a little bit easier to kind of make do with. So I do like that there's that potential for it to go further, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I think looking at some sort of flag here is not a problem as well. I think I would look at something more in the region of this meets with sort of this or the one just below it, which would make a little bit more sense, like there. Um, and then we just get something like this, and I think this creates a nice little, whatever middle section, and then goes up here. 1, 2, 3, flag, push out, flag, and then we're out. And then we create this larger sort of, you know, this. That's quite nice. And I'll take that. I'll take that short. However, yeah, also being very much aware that this can just be a corrective middle section in itself. And then, we get this overall sort of. But this is the sort of gameplay I'll look for. And then New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen as well is looking quite nice. We're looking for the long on this one. So we saw this as a very corrective squeeze. We see this as a sort of corrective break now, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, this is a pattern separation in itself, then I guess. So this is sort of, I don't know, really. I mean, it's it's one of them ones where I just put it on to monitor, not to trade, but it looks like bull flag. So bull flag, impulse up, on the break, created a falcon sort of flavor. Um, yeah, so I guess it is what it is, man. This can just still drop off and then get a bit corrective. So not really bothered. We basically broke out from the override, created a bull flag, and now we're continuing. So I'm definitely thinking this is going to go long, but I think because we're sitting on that sort of fray line, it's not a trade I want to get into. Could even say that this was the override section and now we're on our way down, but because it's such a correct move down, it's not the price action that I want to be in for a short, and it's neither the price action I want to be in for the buy. So it's another one that I'd to be extra patient on, but I think the buy is more probable than the short. Yeah. So that basically sums up my trades for this week. Don't really have much else. But yeah, so that's basically the midweek. I'm probably going to be a little bit offline, a little bit more than usual, only because I'll be doing my rewired stuff. But because of that, won't mean I won't be consistent with this. I'll still be posting some videos. But yeah, it would just be more so focused on sort of building my psychological side of things. So working on my decision making, my why, sort of just refining sort of my own personal building up on myself, essentially, let's say. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a good week and we'll see how these pairs shape up. I don't think I'll be taking any trades this week or probably for the remainder of this month. Probably be working straight up on Rewired quite a lot. So when I do get through that, I'll be more active in terms of live trading. So thanks for watching and see you guys soon. Bye.